very happy with us today. Okay, how many of you are very familiar with the concept of blended learning? Just be frank.
The concept.
Yes, you know what the concept is, right? As a concept, okay. Let's begin with something basic. Okay, let's see if the internet is good, we'll do an activity. Okay. I'm going to ask you something very fundamental. Again, let's see if the line is good, otherwise we'll go for the more traditional.
Oh ya, guna macam ni tak? Tak ada pula dia masukkan pada bawah. Oh ya. Lab. Sebab saya tak lagi buat macam ni lah. Setengah mati kan dah orang-orang nak masuk kat ni. Lab dekat blok 1.
Okay, I wanted to all of you to actually interact with me. Is it full everywhere? Okay, it's okay. So if you can all go to this address, POLL, I'm going to write that, .com/Prof. Dr. Amin. Let me write that. Okay, go to this address. POLLEV.com/Prof. Dr. Can you do that, please? You will see a question from me. So it's asking you what is the conception of teaching. Can you write something? What is teaching to you? POLLEV.com/Prof. Okay, enter. There's a question there. What's your conception of teaching? Just type your answer and then click submit. Remember to click submit, Actually, you can even text me if you want to.
Jadi untuk di login dan itu siapa? Tapi dia ada sini ada yang ini. Bawa ada. Ada. Ada yang nak internet connection dengan apa? Dengan stiker. PA system. Ini stiker. Masuk je dengan tu. Semua komputer betul. Dalam masa yang sama dia boleh baca semua. Tadi ada yang saya dah login yang saya ni. Lepas tu dia keluar balik yang jadi cikgu. Dia keluar balik. Ha? Oh, itu teknik tak boleh. Oh, patut lah. Tapi dia keluar balik. Sekarang ni okey. Ada tak yang kan?
Memang kan disconnected ke? Oh. Okay, I think let's go for real plan B lah. I mean, since that not able to use your internet. Okay, let's share. What is teaching to you? The reason I use school everywhere because I have conducted more than 100 workshops. Normally when you ask face to face, you're very quiet, So I use school everywhere so that everybody can say their part. So I have to go now one by one. So that's okay now. That's okay. Anyone would like to share what's teaching to you?
So for me, it's science and also art.
Okay, science and art of what?
Of getting knowledge and skills.
Okay, so we've got one conception here. Teaching is about, the keyword here is transmitting of knowledge. Okay, this is one conception.
As transferring of knowledge.
Okay, so instead of transmitting, we have transferring. You wanted to add something else?
Making sure they understand and able to apply knowledge.
Okay, so making sure students are able to understand and apply. Okay, what about from this table? Forget about the cannot taking it. Give up. What's your idea, conception of teaching? Sharing of knowledge, okay. How about anyone from this table? Okay, so your job is to transfer. Anyone?
Guide them.
Yeah.
Guide them to how to learn.
Okay.
Guidance to.
So we've got another concept here. Guiding, learning. Okay. Anyone? Yeah.
It's a process of imparting knowledge and experiences.
Okay. So we've got another one, imparting here. There's a reason why I put left and right. Imparting knowledge, experience. Anyone would like to? Yeah.
Delivering something and to make them understand.
Okay. Delivering. Delivering.
You share.
Hmm?
You share your information with them.
Okay. Share the information. Okay. What else? Any keyword? Share. Some people say disseminate. Disseminate. Okay. Now, if you see yourself as doing this, I'm from the Faculty of Education, so this is the traditionalist approach. you are a traditionalist. You see? Because you see yourself as an expert in the field, a guru, a professor, okay? And your main task is to deliver, share, transmit, disseminate, what else? Transfer, impart the knowledge. Okay, so we call this, your role is actually the sage on the stage. You're the guru, you're the expert. So your task is to give. You've got, you want to give. Okay? I personally don't see myself doing all this. In fact, for the past many years, I don't teach. But I'm a professor. So you may be asking, if you don't teach, what do you do? In many of the workshops I ask, I say, how many of you teach? And they say, yeah, this is a crazy question. When you're coming to the university, and then you've got professors, doctors, associate professors, you're asking them, how many of you teach? Of course, all of us teach. I don't teach. Okay? Now, there's another part here where they use the term guiding, facilitating, facilitating. Okay? This is more of the modernist approach. They say these are the guide by the side. So you don't impart knowledge, but you facilitate the process of acquiring the knowledge. One is you spoon feed. Okay, this is a, if you take this view, then probably your method of delivery is mainly spoon feeding. You want to give as much information because you think that you're the guru, you've got the knowledge, so forth. But no problem. Actually, these are the two sides of the coin. Okay, two sides of the coin. One, somebody seeing teaching as to give. The other seeing teaching as it's not so much about what I can give, how I can give, but what can I do to make learning happen? Okay, so these are two separate perspectives. One is how to deliver, the other one. So if you're this view, you're very much concerned how content should be delivered. You want to improve your PowerPoint and so forth. But if you're the modernist approach, okay, your task is to what can I do to make learning happen? Okay. Let's do a vote. I normally make use of tools, to interact with my. This is the first time I have to, but no problem. Good teachers must have plan B. Don't rely on the technology. If the technology is not there, you cannot do anything. So I'm going to do a vote. Normally I use poll everywhere to vote. Okay, I'm going to ask you this question. Think about it. Think about it. You're going to vote. Whether yes or no. Okay, think about it. Whether teaching is equal to learning. Let me rephrase it. For learning to take place, especially university learning, okay, we need professors, we need teachers. And normally what we do is that we come to class, we lecture. Lecture is the main thing. Although, we've got tutorials, we've got labs and so forth. But mainly, we teach. So how many of you agree that, yeah, okay, teaching is equal to learning? I mean, that's why students are here. They're here to learn and they're here to teach. So therefore, teaching. Okay, can you please raise your hand? 1, 2, only 2? You sure? Serious?
It's not equal.
Huh?
It's not equal.
Okay, so you're not convinced.
Yeah.
How about this? So only 2 agree? This is the first time I get only 2. Normally, So, but that's no problem. Any more? Anyone agree? So far we got 2. Any more? Okay, so 2 say yes. What about the others? You disagree or you got a different?
I think we can teach,
Mm.
but the student not necessarily learn.
Okay, why?
For example, let's say that, okay, I'm a traditionalist, I go for the traditional way,
Okay.
but I know that sometimes it doesn't work because when you try to assess and they cannot do it, so I know that they are not learning because they don't really understand. So I think that the learning process is not there, even though we do teach.
Okay, so how many of you agree with her? Okay, so why you are here? I mean, if teaching is not equal to learning, let's wait, let's stay at home. So let's see. Okay, so we've got 2 who says that teaching is equal to learning. So she argued that if teaching is equal to learning, why is it that when we do assessment, we found that not all our students learn. So we cannot claim that teaching is equal to learning. So if we take the other side, if we say no, teaching is not equal to learning, why we do?
To the learning process.
Huh?
To make sure that the learning process.
To make sure that learning process happens. Okay.
Facilitator or coaching or mentoring.
Okay, facilitating, coaching. Okay. Have you heard something called self-organized learning environment? In fact, actually, it's in my open learning. If you have time, okay. There's a talk by Professor Subhuta Mitra. Okay, he conducted an experiment in India. It's called the self-organized learning, where he managed to prove that people can learn without the presence of a teacher. Okay, so where are we now? I mean, I think 2 things we have to remember. If we think that our job is to transmit knowledge, I'm sure all of us, this is your second last semester week of the semester, all right? Second semester, second last week of the semester, right? This is week 13. Okay, I'm sure many of us did a great job teaching, lecturing. Okay. If teaching is equals to learning, then in 2 weeks' time we'll give final exam. At least if not 100%, they should all score 90%. So we cannot claim that teaching is equal to learning. Alright. So a professor said, if you think that if the students have not learned, then the argument goes that you have not taught. But that is not true. I mean, can we argue that, okay, you taught, you claim that you taught for 13, 14 weeks. You lectured, use PowerPoint, use movie and so forth. Okay, and when you give them exams, half of them did not learn. So how can you claim that you have taught? The fact that they did not learn, isn't that a proof that you have not taught? If you say that you have taught, they should have learned. Okay. So maybe we should relook at the scenario. True, you did your job teaching. That's true, for 14 weeks. And I'm sure you did that, as best as possible. Okay? There's no problems about that. But what you failed to do, probably, you did very little to assist learning. Is there some truth in it? Okay, you taught for 14 weeks. You lectured for 14 weeks. But what you fail to do is you did not facilitate learning. Can you say, yeah, maybe yes, it's true. No, I did my job, teaching, but I did very little to assist the learning process. To assist the learning process. Okay, let's try. If your internet is okay, can you all go to Google Images? I hope this is working now. Go to Google Images. Google Images. Are you able to get the internet? No? Okay. If you can, I'm having problem. I want you to type this word. The learning pyramid. Learning pyramid. Can you do that? Learning pyramid.
PY or PR?
PY, sorry. Pyramid, yeah. You will see many images. Then you choose one. Okay, learning pyramid. Okay. Can you study the pyramid? Okay, basically the pyramid is saying that this is the average retention rates after 24 hours, depending on what you do. Students can retain 5% of what you lecture. Are you surprised? So according to this, it's even better to get them to read something, give them notes. They can remember 10% of what they read. Most of us, we are here actually. Why? Because we make use of PowerPoint. When we teach, we make use of PowerPoint, so that's considered audio visual. So you come, you make use of PowerPoint, you talk, so that's audio visual. So we are here. But if you're in the technical area, okay, you do a demonstration, you call the students, that is 30%. Why is this so? Because this is called the passive teaching method. Students are not doing anything. They're not doing anything. Okay, passive teaching methods. So if you want more learning to take place, you need to get them to work in groups. Get them to practice the concept, apply them. But the best is to get them to teach others. Teach others meaning to say, get them to convince their friends about the formula, and so forth. So if you look at this learning pyramid, so there's a strong argument that we should be doing less teaching. We should be doing less lecturing. So we should relook, our conception of teaching and learning. I wanted to do some experiment, but again, I don't think this is work. This is going to work because of the internet. I sometimes tell people, why teach? Why teach? Why teach? When Google has got the answer. You buy the... No?
Filters.
Huh?
No filters.
No filters, true.
Input of information.
Okay. So perhaps this is your task to help students filter information. But my son built a swimming pool for us. He majors in business admin. He builds a swimming pool by watching YouTube. Are you sure? Are you sure that your students can? You're the best person to. No, let's just argue for the sake of argument. We think that to learn something they have to come to our class and lecture. I have 7 grown-ups. My youngest is at UiTM. When they come back from university, they say university is so boring. If it's just a PowerPoint, I can have better PowerPoints, more YouTube videos from and that's true. I mean, if you don't believe me, just go to YouTube or Google, type the topic that you teach and see whether yours is more interesting or something you found in the video is more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly it is. I mean, the point she mentioned and you are talking is what that there are so much better material online.
Okay.
They can find online, but when it comes to teaching, they are just
No, if your task is to deliver content, which is what many of us do, I think there are good content on the internet. If teaching is about delivering content, I think Google can do a better job. This is what I'm getting. This is what I'm getting to.
It is
I think that the what we need to reconsider is our role. We need to change our role. If we think that our role is to provide quality, good content, I seriously think that Google can do a better job. So this is where I think somebody said just now, but the students do not know how to filter. So now you come in with a different role. You can guide them to filter for the best, the most accurate information. So maybe the role. But as far as content is concerned, there's a lot of content. I'm quite sure that some of the content are much better than your PowerPoint. I can, kalau dalam bahasa Melayu kata boleh potong jari lah.
basically it is your communication skills, how you filter the information and right type of information you give to them.
Or they say good teachers are not those who provide the. If you write this down, I strongly believe in this. Good teachers are not those who provide the correct answers. Good teachers are not those who come to class and always spoon feed. These are the answers. But good teachers are those who pose the right questions. I think this is our task.
So you mean teacher who create and curiosity how to learn.
Okay, there's two things. One is called teaching by telling. The other one is called teaching by questioning. Okay, I can come to class and say, okay class, X is blah blah blah, professor did say X is blah 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 blah, so you're spoon feeding it to your students. But the other way is to ask the students, what do you know about X? Put them at the driver's seat. Okay, I'll give you 1 week, go and find out, how much, as much information on X. X can be a topic that you teach lah, whatever lah. Okay, one is you come to class, you go through your PowerPoint, this is X, you provide one example after. What will the students do? They will memorize your PowerPoint, memorize. And during exam, if you ask them what is X, what happens? They will vomit back your PowerPoint, word by word. And you say, bravo, I'm going to give him full marks because he is able to memorize. He's able to what we call, vomit back what I've spoken. That is not higher education. But imagine if you put the students at the driver's seat. Okay, you ask them a week before, maybe before they come to class, find out as much information about X. Okay, so they come to class. Okay, what have you, in your research, what have you found about X? So he will say blah blah blah, he will say maybe different variations of it. Okay, do you agree with him? Do you agree with him? Okay. So our role is actually to pose questions to get them to the answers. And I've done this many times. I've asked people to look for information in a classroom, in a workshop like this. 40 people. I give them the same question, but never have I gotten like a totally same answer. Never. They're similar but not the same, because we will look for information. When we filter information, when we look for information, we filter according to our belief system. Some people take the first one, some people take the fifth one, when you Google the internet. Okay? But the concepts are similar. We digest. So they come to class, okay, what's your answer, what's your answer? So my task is now to tie the loose ends. So this is where I'm getting into the blended learning. This is what, blended learning is actually, it's a mixture of face-to-face and online learning. I've got some videos, but I'm so sorry that the internet is not working so well. But if you go to open learning, when you get back to your office, you can there's some videos. So basically, blended learning is a combination of face-to-face and online learning. Okay. Before we get into that, maybe one more thing I would like to explore with you. Where did I put mine? Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's in my pocket, sorry. Before we get into blended learning, what is learning? Is learning understanding? From the student's point of view, the students are here to learn. So can we say learning is from not knowing to knowing? Oh yeah. Sorry. This is the first level. So is learning knowing, or is learning understanding? Or both, or what? What's your take on it? How many of you believe that learning is knowing? From not knowing to knowing, we can consider that learning. No? Yeah?
Actually, when you are putting learning equal to knowing and understanding, actually it is how much the level of understanding or level of knowledge.
Level. So to you, level is important.
But I think you never know 100%. You never learn 100%. Whatever you try to learn. Is it right or?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me. What? Can we consider that learning is knowing? Can we consider learning as understanding?
I think it is both, it is more. It is learning, you can also apply. First you know, you understand,
Okay.
you apply.
Yeah, okay. So, I think it's more than that. I think learning equals to what one is able, okay, one is able to do, i.e. apply with what he knows, understand. Can we sort of Like, take this definition, can we assume that learning is not necessarily just knowing? And if somebody knows something, but not able to apply that knowledge in geoscience, can we consider they have learned something? Probably not enough. Okay, understanding, is that sufficient to show that they have learned? Probably not enough. But they say learning is actually a change in behavior. A change in behavior, a change in from not knowing to knowing, from not understanding to understanding, from not feeling to feeling, because learning is also about feeling, not appreciating the environment, now appreciating the environment, that's part of learning. Okay, but they say this is learning. I'm going to write this down. Learning is what learners do, not what is done to them, not what is done to them. Okay, think about it. Let me see if I can play you this video. Okay, let's. Okay, sorry. This is how I conceptualize as teaching. By the way, FL stands for facilitating learning. I see teaching as to facilitate learning, to make learning happen. Okay, so to me, for that to happen, it has to be learning centered. People talk about learner centered. I prefer the word learning centered. What's the difference? One is the subject, one is the process. Learning centered is, you want to make sure that learning takes place. No, learning is the focal. Learning is the focal. Okay, secondly, I think teaching should be interactive. Many ways. People think that interactive is two ways. But actually there's more than one way. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Okay, facilitating learning. Facilitating learning also implies that teaching is participatory. Participatory. I think my internet is, yours is even better. Okay, no problem. At least we saw some of it. More importantly, the learning should be meaningful, not merely, to recall information. It has to be meaningful. Okay, so learning is what learners are able to do with what they know. It's not what is done to them. The more you lecture, the more the less they're going to learn. Okay. Now, so coming back to the idea of blended learning. Are we going to have the workshop tomorrow here also? Can we try some other rooms, because it's rather difficult. My materials are all here. Betul, Nur Hashimah. Okay, they say learning should be meaningful. So how should learning be meaningful? Okay, there are 5 things that to make learning meaningful, but one of the key things is learning has to be active. Okay, so the key is that whatever you do during class, you need to, the keyword is called engagement. How do you engage them? And there has been studies to prove that if you lecture, students' brain activity is very low. It's even higher when they go to sleep. So you think that they are following you, but actually listening, taking notes are, these are passive. Even though they are writing something, but these are passive learning activities. Why is that so? And do you think that people learn by taking notes? I mean, if taking notes is important, give them the notes. I mean, why do they have to write the notes? Think about it. If they come to class, and you go through your PowerPoint and they take notes. I mean, and if you think that taking notes is so important that they have to come all the way from all over the world to UTP, from the hostel, just to listen to you and take notes. Give them the notes. Why do we have to go through and So I think learning is more than that. Learning is what they do, not what is done to them. So if you're lecturing, you're doing things for them. Okay. So I think what's happening, you may disagree with me, but there is a bit of a mismatch, I think, with what you intend to achieve at the end of the lesson with what you actually doing. Okay, let me give you an example. By the way, what are your, how many of you from the engineering side? Okay, geoscience. Apa lagi bidang yang you ada kat sini? IT. Okay, the others? Applied sciences lagi. Humanities, okay. Okay. Now, so what do? You come to class. Okay. Let's take an example. I'm sure all of us, when we come to class, we want our students to be able to achieve something. Am I right? Remember the OBE, we've got the PO, program objective, all this, OBE, PO, CO, the course objective, and actually, whether we realize or we like it or not, when we enter a lecture room, a lecture session, we've got something called LO, the lesson objective. Some of you will put one slide. In this lesson, you should be able to, okay. And normally, the things that you want them to be able to achieve will be in the form of cognitive. They should be able to use a formula, or psychomotor. They should be able to do something, or sometimes in the form of change in attitudes, maybe teamwork and so forth. But you always come to class wanting them to be able to do something, right? Okay. Let's say the LO is for them to be able to apply this formula to solve a problem, to solve an environmental issue. Okay. Now, if you spend 2 hours, 3 hours explaining how the formula is, what the formula is, and how the formula should be used, do you think that they have learned? Is that sufficient? If your objective is for them to be able to use that formula to solve a problem, do you think by lecturing for 2 hours how the formula how the problem should be solved using the formula, students will be able to solve the problem? No. But they need to know the formula. They need to know how to use the formula. So the content is important. But why should we be spending 3 hours explaining that when the end result we want is for them to solve the problem? So don't you think that class time, lecture time should be spent more on solving the problem instead of explaining how the problem should be solved? Is it making some sense here? And this is where blended learning comes in. This is where blended learning comes in. So the idea of blended learning is that, okay, you've got the face-to-face, and we've got the online learning. Okay, face-to-face, online learning. So at the moment, I think most of our classes are face-to-face. Okay, in some universities, some contexts, they go fully online. We don't want that. So anything in between is called blended learning. Blended learning. So the idea of blended is that you blend face-to-face with online learning. And why is this, you think, suitable or necessary for this, our generation? That okay, instead of everything face to face, let's do something online. Can anyone?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's not boring, it's interesting.
It's interesting for the student.
Yes.
Why?
Because they have all the tips.
Okay.
Keep using it.
Okay.
Start with phone.
Okay. They've got all the devices. What else? What's the benefit of going online or partially online?
Online ability you have extra ability that you cannot do when you are doing it face to face.
Okay, such as
the imagery, like it can be in form of videos.
Okay.
What do you say? You can visualize the movement.
You can visualize the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are certain things better delivered in the online
yes,
context.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Many of us, we spend 2 to 3 hours lecturing. Okay, we spend 2 to 3 hours lecturing, leaving very little time for students to do activities during lesson. Betul tak? Because we think by lecturing people learn, but we discover people don't learn that much to lecture. Okay, so the idea of blended learning, is that okay, we want to reduce the face-to-face. There are certain things probably we can give it in the online mode. We call it let's digitize the content. Let's digitize the content. This is a Chinese proverb. I hear, I forget. I see, I remember. But if you want them to understand, you get them to do things. So the idea of blended learning is, we want to reduce the face-to-face. Okay? There are certain things that we can do better online. So what are the, can you tell me one or two things that you can do better in the online version? Maybe as far as your teaching content is concerned. How many of you would wish that I want to spend less time standing in front of the class. I want to digitize that and then put it online. How many of you wish you can do that? So that one, you don't have to repeat that. For I've been teaching UKM for 17 years. Same thing. I think it makes a lot of sense if I can record my teaching, put it there online for the students. What's the benefit for me? I don't have to repeat it again because it's already there. Alright, makes sense. No?
Things change.
Yeah, you're giving it in a different mode. Now you come to class and deliver. Okay? But you say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to digitize that. Okay? I'm going to put that here for my students so that, one, I don't have to repeat it again. Two, I can do something else during class. I can now, instead of explaining the formula, for 3 hours, I'm going to make it the video so that during class, okay, I give you the problem, now you solve the problem. Do you think that makes a lot of sense? And for the students, during class, sometimes what happens, you're teaching, but they're not in the right mood, so they sit there with their handphone, blah, blah, blah. So, or take notes, So learning is not taking place. Maybe you're too fast, maybe you're too slow. But imagine if the content is there in a digitized mode. What's the benefit for the students? During class, they don't understand. You ask questions, you keep quiet, But if you digitize that, wow. So this is the philosophy behind blended learning. So you want to reduce. So you can go blended 50-50. Then you can go 80-20. Mean to say you still maintain 80% face-to-face, 20% online, or you can even go 20%, 80%. Okay? In Malaysia, there's a national policy. Okay? I head the committee. I'm the think tank for the Ministry of Education. Okay? We've got a national policy called Japan, Dasar Pembelajaran Negara, saying that the courses that you offer can have a minimum of 30% online. This is minimum. You can go more than that as far as the national policy is concerned. No, you can go, you should go. The policy say all courses should be conducted in a blended mode. But this is UTP, this is a private university, maybe the implementation, I don't know. But as far as public university is concerned, we have to move to at least 30%. So 30% of the courses in UKM are all done online. So meaning to say, I can, if I want, only go for 10 lectures and the other 4 lectures are done online. That's okay as far as NPA and the national policy is concerned. A minimum of 30%. But myself, I go 50-50. 50-50. So my content are 50% delivered in an online mode. Only 50% in the face-to-face. Let me give you 2 examples. Semester 1, I teach undergraduate. It is a 4-credit course. Okay, 2 hours tutorial, and 2 hours. So 2 hours, 2 hours and 2 hours face-to-face meeting. So this is a 4-credit. So my students, for 14 weeks, for that tutorial, they don't come to see me. It's all done online. Good, huh? You can do other things.
Sorry, tutorial means face to face, right?
My tutorial is online. It's online tutorial. Okay? So we only meet this one, 2 hours for 14 weeks. So 2 hours times 14 weeks. So this one is here, face to face. This one is done fully online. So this is an example of a blended learning. Okay. Now I teach a master's program, postgraduate. It is a 3-credit course. I also practice 50-50. I'm supposed to meet them 3 hours every Friday, but since I adopt blended mode, I only see them 1.5 hours per week, because the other half an hour is that online. So this is the true sense of blended learning. But if you are in a situation where you put your, what is your system here, your e-learning system? What is it called? Moodle, okay. Now if you put your courses, your PowerPoint on Moodle, and then you still meet your students like the same 3 hours, that is not the truest sense of blended learning. Blended is where you replace whatever amount of online with face-to-face. The rationale being, you want to give your students more time to study on their own, so there's more self-study, and you want them to go through some of the materials. Okay, so during class you want to spend less time, quote unquote, teaching. Any questions so far? Yeah.
Is blended learning only applies for online learning and face-to-face, or what about the assignments that they have to do on their own? Is that considered blended learning as well?
No. When you say blended, it has to have the 2 components, the online and the face-to-face. But if you say assignment, these are normally not considered. It's not considered as blended. It has to be some online component. Yeah.
So if you do like 50% online learning, so you expect the students to do their part, right?
Yeah.
But how do you make sure that they are doing their part?
How do you make sure they, you mean somebody else?
The students are doing, they basically learn on their own. You give them some tasks,
Okay.
they should study on their own,
Mhm.
and then come to the class and discuss.
Yes.
But if they don't do their parts, how do you make sure that they
These are the things that you learn. You need to pick up during this kind of workshops. Normally in Malaysia, if it's not part of the evaluation, forget it. If you say, go and watch this video, read this article, if it's not part of the assessment, they're not going to. So one is you tie that to the assessment. What they call this? I'm sure in your assessment you've got a certain percentage for penilaian berterusan. What do you call it? You don't have that? You have? Final exam? Okay. Coursework. Part of your coursework. So you say, okay, let's say you've got 30% that carry marks. That's part of the online task. But the way to go is to make it task-based, not just to provide the content. You tie the content with some task. Okay. Now, can I show you some ways how, if you want to practice blended learning. Sorry, I was not able to follow my what I planned. Okay.
This is a brief overview and tutorial of MoveNote. MoveNote is a slide casting tool that is a standalone website as well as a Chrome app. You can see it.
Maybe let me show you a few examples. Okay. So if you want to go blended learning, the first skill that you need to master is what we call to digitize some of your content, to turn your lecture into teaching videos. Okay. We will go more into this tomorrow. Okay, one is something we call slide casting. How many of you, when you teach, you use PowerPoint? I think most of us. All right. So, okay, this is called slide casting. Slide casting is that you can do it from your laptop. Okay, so this is going to be you, and this is going to be your slide. We call this slide casting. Okay, so you will sit in front of the camera, and then you will walk through the slides. Walk through the slides. Try to show you one example. Okay, so this is an example of slide casting.
Area. So here I've got my slides in order, and then I've also got a document and an image, and I can actually reorder this. So for instance, if I want to break up my slide deck present, a couple of neat things that you can do is
okay. So this is an example of what is called slide casting. Okay, so you sit in front of your laptop. Okay. And then you walk through your slides. And this is what you do during class, am I right? So imagine if your teaching can be captured in this form. Would you like to do that? Your half an hour lecture, your 1 hour lecture. Now, this is you lecturing, and this is your slides. So you go through. When students come to class, this is what they see. They see you, they see the slides. But during class, students will be busy doing what? Writing down the notes. But if you have this, then no problem. Half-hour recording, is there. So the students can now rewind, stop, pause. So we do this, we digitize this, and we put this in the online version. So before the students come to class, they view this, so that during class they've got some prior knowledge. You talk to them, you give activities. Or you can say, okay, for revision purposes, I'm going to give you this set. So we call this slide casting. You broadcast the slides. Okay. So tomorrow I will be showing to you the tools that you can use to slide cast. Okay. One is called No View. Okay. This one is called Move Note. Another one is called Present Me. Present Me. So I'm going to show you three ways how to create what is called slide casting. So once you have this, then you can import into your Moodle and so forth. So the students can now part, instead of coming to class face to face to listen to you, they've got this to listen to you. So tomorrow I'm going to share you this presentation, which has got No View, Move Note, and also Present Me. Okay. Now, how many of you, when you teach, you draw? How many of you? That's good. So you don't use PowerPoint. You draw. Okay. So we call this scribing. Scribing. Like at the moment, I'm scribing. I'm scribing. Now, in the traditional manner, what you do, you come to class, you use the whiteboard. And normally when you use the whiteboard, you're facing the whiteboard, the students are there, it's so boring. And then after that, you erase. Next semester you come, you draw again. So imagine if you can digitize your whiteboard teaching. What's the benefit? You don't have to draw every time. And then students can follow the steps. Otherwise, by the time the students are not comprehending, they're not taking notes of what you're writing. So that we want to do away with that. So I'm going to introduce to you tomorrow, okay, something called Edu Creation. Edu Creation. I'm just going to give you a glimpse of what you're going to learn tomorrow, just to make sure that you attend tomorrow. Because of today's, it is called Edu Creations. See again, giving me another. Kemana dia nak buat? Okay, no problem. So tomorrow I will show you how to use editing. But what will happen is that now, whatever you write is now turned into a video. So for those of you who need to draw, and scribble, okay. So tomorrow we're going to do that. Okay. Now there's another skill which is called screencasting. Screencasting. Okay, screencasting is another concept that is whatever is on the screen can be turned into a teaching video. For example, some people teach us using Excel, or you're teaching programming. Okay, so we can turn that into a teaching video. We're going to do that tomorrow. It's called screencasting. And most of the tools that I'm going to share with you tomorrow will be free of charge. It's called the Web 2.0 tools. Okay? But again, let's pray that tomorrow the internet is fine. I think tonight I have to think of another strategy. Use a laptop or something, or use I've got my because otherwise how can I show you? I've got Maxis yang broadband tu lah, so I can use that. But boleh sediakan laptop
Okay.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow I make sure the internet is okay.
Otherwise disaster. Okay, now are your internet as bad as me or mine is worse?
Yeah, this is okay.
Yours is okay, eh? Okay. Now, let me try to show you this one. This is called also, just now we call this scribing, but there's something called video scribing, eh? Video scribing. So we're going to do that also tomorrow. But again, let me try to.
Hey guys, Ryan from PowtoonTricks.com here with a tutorial video on how to create your first Powtoon. Today I'm going to go...
Okay, let me show you this one. Okay, we call this video scribing.
Okay. Tapi dia ada prompt lagi nak minta tu. Jadi tu.
Okay? So this is actually you, instead of using PowerPoint, you create content where the thing writes for you, and nothing complicated. If the internet is good, give me half an hour, you can do better than this. Okay, we call this video scribing, and this kind of content is actually very, very much liked by the younger generation, because student span of attention used to be 10 minutes, but over the years has dropped to 3 minutes. So that's why if you want to create good teaching video, it has to be less than 3 minutes. And how is that possible? Tomorrow I will share with you. So we call this video scribing. So let's hope that the internet is good tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to show you one or two. Okay, let's try move node example. Give you an idea how you can digitize content. Okay, this is using move node.
Alright guys, I'm going to talk to you about how to use move node and set the presentation. Now, when you create your new slide presentation, make sure you pick a background that's very light. And you can add pictures in there. And
I know what to do. Okay. Okay, this is an example of presenting. Let's try something on science and technology. You can directly record. I want to show where you have the slides and the presentation. Yeah.
Saya try tengok yang some of the tools yang you share just now. Most of it kita kena bayar.
No, there's a free version of it. The education plan is called the education plan.
Itu memang unlimited, memang free lah. Tak bukan trial education.
Dia bukan unlimited. Normally it's got two version lah, the paid version and the free version. The free version tu ada some limitations lah if you don't get the full blown features kan. Tapi normally the free version is sufficient enough to get you. Normally I'll go for the free one, but if I use it intensively then I go for the paid version. So, but yang kalau screencasting, which one did you look just now?
Saya tengok video scribing.
Okay. Itu because I use extensively. That one I go pro. Give me 1 second. Sorry for the delay. Okay. Now this is video scribing. This is called the scribing. But let me show you. Class. Three, two, one, zero. Okay, class. This is the map of Malaysia. So ni Amin bola. Kalau ni tengah mengajar ni. Okay, the monsoon, program, blah blah blah. Then you go, okay, you want to ask some questions here. Okay, what do you think of this is called scribing. It's like whatever you want to write on the whiteboard is now recorded as a video. So imagine you're drawing some geoscience ke apa kan. Okay, so this is an example of video scribing. No, okay. This is also available using iPad. So if you're using iPad, you can use your finger. If you're using a PC, normally people use the mouse lah. But if you have to draw something very neat, then you can buy a hardware called bamboo. Have you heard of like a board, then you can really like. But the good thing is that your drawing, your explanation is now recorded. Or you can give it after class, before class, so that now students can follow the steps. But if you use it face to face only, while explaining, the students will be just copying things and not concentrating on that. So I think for those of you yang banyak, if you draw, if you people in the sciences, engineering, this will be very useful to you. Okay, there's also something, let me show you, called screen test. But this is strange. Why is it, You have the same problem? Huh? Now it's following my footstep. Okay, this is called screen casting. Is unsupported. Okay, we'll see what we can do tomorrow. Okay, so basically tomorrow's session is to introduce to you some of the different tools that you can use to digitize your content, and also to move on to something that I call as blended learning 2.0. What we have done so far is blended learning 1.0. 1.0 means to say that we now want to turn our teaching content into digitized form, and there are many ways of doing it. So tomorrow. By the way, in case if you want to know more, remember this morning I gave you the open learning when we started the session, the open learning. So all these videos are there actually. You can go through on your own. But tomorrow we'll try to do it together. But there's a smarter way of doing things. I call it blended learning 2.0. So what is the smarter way? Why reinvent the wheel if you've got already good content on the web? So I call blended learning 1.0 is basically to digitize our teaching content. Okay, but you can go one step ahead. Actually, to what we call repurpose. Have you heard of the term OER? Open Educational Resources. Okay, education resources created by other professors like you and me. Let's say you're teaching something about geoscience, and you found a video created by somebody else. So why should I turn my PowerPoint into video when somebody already created a video? So we repurpose it for our purpose. And there are tools that I can share with you how to make use of teaching content created by others, and they're sharing it on the web for other people to make use. So you repurpose it for your students, for your needs. You give it a local taste, a local flavor to the content created by others.
What do you mean by local? Make it local?
Yeah, because maybe originally the content was created by a professor in Australia, but in Malaysia the structure is a bit different, kan? Tapi the principles are the same, kan? So you make sure you make use of that video and then give your own interpretation, add on a bit more info, so you don't have to start from scratch.
But they generate the video. I mean, I use that. I mean, I download quite a number of videos from a standard YouTube.
Okay.
And the professor narrate basically Indian origin. So when you generate, when you want to intervene, basically how
I will show you. You come to the tomorrow session. So there are tools where we can add our narration to the video, and not only that, we can create quizzes to the video. It's something called add puzzle. Whether you heard about that? It's called add puzzle, or maybe I can show you the fact that you won't be here tomorrow. There's something called add puzzle, or it's also called TED, TED, add lessons. Okay, that's me. No, this is YouTube. TED.com. TED. Okay. Let's say I want to create a lesson. Okay, give a topic that you normally teach. One topic.
Flip-flops.
Flip-flop. One word or what?
2 words.
Flip-flop.
Flop.
Betul. Betul. The difference between latch and flip-flop. This one?
Boleh lah.
Electronic flip-flop. Okay. So this is a video prepared by somebody.
I'm hard drive, and today on Electronics 201, we're going to talk about flip-flops.
This concept is called screencasting, where people screencast. This is called screencasting, where people explain something. Okay. So somebody already done the job for you. Okay. So you launch the editor. Oh, I need to log in. So you make use of the okay, you make use of this video, and this is the studio. So what you can do now, you can even change this into your title. So So katalah you tak nak ni, just want to vlog. Okay, you give a short intro here. Okay, you can create questions here. Okay, so you can create questions to the video, and then later on you can add some experience. So we call this repurposing OER. You make use of a video already created by others and it's been shared. You're not cheating anything. It's called open educational resources. People are not creating it and they're sharing on YouTube and so forth.
And you can remove the voice.
Yeah, no. If you want to add your own narration, we make use of something called add puzzle, something similar to this. But this one allows you to, with the video, you can create 15 questions for your students. It can be multiple choice, open-ended. So meaning you say students before they come to class, they watch this video. The video can be your video, like if you want to go learning 1.0. Okay, so students are given 15 questions. They watch the video. Imagine you come to class, you know whether they have understood or not. So you come to class, spend time on things that they don't understand. Why go, if you give them 50 questions, everybody got 12 questions right by watching your video. Should you go through the content again? Yeah, they've all understood. How did you know they understood? They all got the right answer. Okay, so you can add questions. Dig deeper is where you add a bit more explanation of your own and discuss. You can give them questions for them to discuss, and then finally you write a summary. So there are many of these kind of tools where they call it repurposing OER. You make use of content created by others, but you add your dimension to it, your local explanation to it. Okay, so
when you say dig deeper, are you creating another video on top of that?
No, dig deeper is you want to give them more information
By giving
them notes or some links,
Okay.
So meaning to say you don't take things stock and barrel, but you give it your interpretation lah. Mungkin Malaysian punya some other things, Okay, I'm so sorry, I was not able to do the normal way of conducting my. Normally I like to have it interactive and I prepared some videos. I hope tomorrow something can be done. Otherwise,
We go traditional.
we go traditional. But tomorrow should not be traditional because it has to be hands-on. But they promise they will do something. Okay.
We'll be moving to block 101, 0106.
Okay. So where would that be? Block 1 01 06. Maybe you should also email them. That's fine. Block 1 01 06. So I'm so sorry I was not before we end the session, any questions? Yeah.
About the questions, the quiz. Is this mandatory for them? Should they register to do? Do you know who is answering? Can you mark this, or is just for feeling how they are?
It depends. Normally, there are two types of assessment. One is called assessment of learning. One is called assessment for learning. If you are using it as assessment for learning, you say you give them the video, and the assessment is to help understanding. We call that assessment for learning. But if you're using it as assessment of learning, it has to be a bit more official. So to make it official, you bring them into a lab. And say, okay, now I want you to do the quiz because it's formal, it's part of the assessment. But if it's assessment for learning, they can do it anytime. They've got the choice to do it or not to do it. But the good thing is that let's say you say, I'm giving you 1 week, this is the video with 15 questions on it. And before they come to class, you can download it in the form of Excel. And you can know, Ahmad did which question right, the system will do the grading for you. See? The system, when you get into the system, you will know how many already answered the question, who got the answer right, who got the answer wrong. And it's all done for free. So I mean, it's good lah. Somebody is marking for you, so before you come to class, this the person is not understanding well and so forth. So depending on the purpose.
That's what I read.
Yeah. And if you make use of a similar tool called Add Puzzle, you can even know how much time they spend watching the video, how many times they stop, which part they, so this is called learning analytics. There's some statistics to show you how much learning is taking place. So this is the essence of blended learning. Instead of getting your students to come to class face to face, you try to put some of it in a form of making use of some of these tools, so that some learning will happen in an online, maybe before they come to class, or maybe as a post lesson. But you're making use of these tools to help you, do the marking for you and so forth. Any other questions?
So what about this? The students have to register for the online. Online you speak 70% face-to-face and 50% you're saying online.
Okay.
So they must register on online.
Register in terms of.
But, I mean.
Yeah, if they're using TEDx, they will register here.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you will know, okay, 40 students have already registered here.
Because otherwise you can just put your material online.
Mm-hmm.
But they know about it, but you don't know who is going there.
Yeah. So you want them to identify who they are so that you know who comes in and so forth. And many of these tools, they will give you what is called the embed code. The symbol is something like this. The symbol is it's called the embed code. Okay. So what you do is that you create in TEDx, you take the embed code, now you embed in Moodle. Because they're using Moodle. So for Moodle, maybe they go to education and so forth. Embed is where students will only see a window here. Window. Maybe I show you, if I get this, I'll show you what I mean by embed. Okay, this is where I make use of that Add Puzzle. So my students, they come to our system here. Okay, now with Add Puzzle, you can stop anywhere in the video and ask questions. So for example, students come into this is like our Moodle.
So we're here this afternoon to talk about language learning strategies, how you can be a better language learner, and how you can do better in your language courses.
See? So the system will stop and students have to answer the questions. If they don't answer the question, they cannot watch the video. So I can stop anywhere. And so I've got 40 students. So before I come to class, I can see each student who answered what. So during class, I can now say, okay, you said this. Why did you say so? You gave this answer. So the learning has taken place before they come to class. Because during class, can I ask 40 students? I don't have time. So that. And instead of using my video, I found another professor teaching the same content. So I said, this is good. So we call this repurposing. So this is the concept of blended. And this is the idea of embed. So you embed in your system. You see, I created this in Edpuzzle. Now I embed it in my. So if I can just finally just give me 1 second, show you. If I go to Edpuzzle now. Now I can show you the data, how many students came in. Okay, this is my class. You see? So, how many percent completed? And I can also look at the progress. You see? And this was done. And each student, okay, this we call this analytics. How much time they spend on the video, and these are their answers. It's all done. So I can go to next student. These are their answers, you know. But because my questions are open-ended, but if my questions are multiple choice, the system will do the grading already. How many people got 100% and so forth. You get my point? So you take a video, and then you can stop anywhere in the video, ask questions. So before they come to class, they go through. You come to class and say, okay, you said this is the answer. Why? So blended learning is so that you shift the direct instruction out of the classroom, so that during time you can go more deeper. So we'll do this tomorrow. So make sure you don't miss the workshop.
So the open-ended cannot be graded.
Yeah, of course. How can the system be so smart to say, what's the answer? But if your question is true, false, multiple choice, the system will do the grading for you.
Because for example, technical, you want to see, I don't want this student to give the final answer because I want to see how we work through the steps, different,
okay.
and so on. How do you make this combination?
Okay, you can do something like this. Get them to screencast. Maybe I'll show you. This is how I want to find out what students, whether they understood the process right or not. I get them to screencast. So I can now play this. So if you want to understand students' process, get them to screencast the steps.
I'm going to share on how they can easily remember Oxford strategy of...
For example, you teach just now using education, you get your students to answer using education. They now explain step by step. Sometimes students give you the answer, but they don't understand the step. So you get them to record that. Many ways of doing it. So she's now explaining the process to me and to the rest of the class using a screencasting technique.
So you would have to teach the student how to use the software then?
I don't teach them. I just give them something like this. I just give them the instruction. Okay, this is the instruction. And I give them a video on how to do screencasting. So this is the task. I say watch the following video to find out blah blah blah. These are the examples. Okay. Because these are the younger generation. I say you can make use of present me or screencast. Give them 1 or 2 video. I don't teach them. They do.
Prof, you say that you get the student to look at the video
you before they come to class.
Yes.
And you make it compulsory for them to come.
Yeah, it's
So to
part of the assessment. Part of the, you call it here coursework lah. But I give them 1 week. Some people give them 2 weeks before. So that when, you see, two things. One, so that they come to class prepared. Secondly, the process has already started. Even if they make some mistakes. So your task now is to come to class and say, okay, you said this. This was your answer. Why did you say so? Did you agree with it? And finally to tie the lesson, because you're the expert. The traditional way is that you come to class and say, okay, here guys, here's the answer. A is this one, B is this one, you know. But blended learning is to shift the role. Now you put them at the driver's seat. Give them the task. Let them to look for the answers, come to class, we discuss, and then finally you make everything crystal clear. So learning is by doing. Learning is not by you know, like you don't spoon feed that much. And I find that, you know, in final exams, students perform much better because you have already put them at the driver's seat. You let them to search for the information, you get them to analyze, to synthesize, to present the information. They have done the initial work. So if during the exam you say, okay, now this is kacang, it's peanuts, because you've already put them through the process. Otherwise, it's going to be just memorizing what you know is in the PowerPoint. Okay, so